Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Huge game for the Indiana Fever tonight. Got the keys here for you. Number one, fire Stephanie White before the game. Number two, put a healthy Caitlin Clark on the court and in charge. And we'll coast from here. So there you go. There you have it. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support as always. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the 19. Let's dig into all of this. As you know, late game tonight for those of you that are not on the West Coast. 10 p.m. Eastern start as they will be in LA to battle the Los Angeles Sparks. They do have a little bit of wiggle room thanks to a big win by the Fever against the Storm and a loss by the Sparks. As you can see here, they are now no longer the same in the loss column. The Sparks still have two games in hand, so they could end up 19-19. But now the Fever control their destiny, which means tonight is a good opportunity for them to put just a little bit of space between them and the Los Angeles Sparks, give the Sparks that 20th loss while the Fever still only have 18 of their own. Let's talk a little bit about this game. First of all, you have to have the givens. Right. You have to have the givens, and that means your star players have to put out star performances. You need to have Aaliyah Boston have a fantastic game. You need to have Kelsey Mitchell have a fantastic game. And then and look, I think Natasha Howard has to step up a little bit. Not that she's been terrible lately, but I think she's been a little less than she can be, a little less than what the team needs, especially in the rebounding department. I mean, her last 5 games, if we just take a quick look at this, we've got, where is it? 5, 8, 4, 9, 1. So we got 2 solid rebounding games. Looking for the 8 and 9, and she did have 6 assists last game against the Storm, so I can't complain about that. But she needs to do a little more on the glass to help this team out. As I had mentioned, other than last game, it was important in the Seattle win. They have really been getting hammered on the boards, and I think Natasha Howard is a big part of that. So Kelsey Mitchell has to be Kelsey Mitchell. She's got to shoot the ball well. She's got to create opportunities. Aaliyah Boston needs to get her touches. But other than that, other than stars being stars, we've got certain role players that need to step up, that have been stepping up pretty well. I'll say, a couple of new additions. Let's check out Shea Petty, right? Shea Petty has played well for this team. 3 games she's been here. She's only 1 of 4 last game shooting. The game before that, though, she was 6 of 7, 3 of 3 from 3. The game before that, she was 3 of 4, 3 of 4 from 3. So these are big time buckets that she's putting into this team in limited minutes, which is really, really important. So that has been a blessing for the Indiana Fever to be able, at this point in the season and this deep, right? We already signed Harry McDonald, already signed Odyssey Sims. Other teams are signing these players, and to still be able to go out and get Shea Petty, and for her to shoot 10 of 15 in 3 games. She made some big buckets for the Indiana Fever. So that was been important. And then the latest signing that even came after Shea Petty, and that's Ariel Powers, who has been a fantastic addition to the team, having only played 2 games. But what is wild is 7 rebounds. So she had 5 rebounds in her first outing, 9 rebounds last outing, 7 rebounds. She only averages 3.4 in her 9-10-year career. And it's like and this is what I love about certain players. Ariel Powers came in, and this is just for what I know of her, my belief in her mindset. She came in and say, okay, what can I do for this team that is going to help them out the most? What can I do on the court that is going to allow other players to do what they do best and allow me to contribute to this team in their late playoff run and help them get some wins? So we've got that as well. Now, one of the I'll give you maybe I think 2 of the biggest keys for me, and I talked about this in the post game with Seattle, and that is number 1, consistency through 4 quarters. This is a team that for the most part has not been able to show that type of consistency for an entire game. How often have we talked about the number of double-digit leads this team has lost and then lost the game? How many times they have been absolutely demolished in the 3rd quarter and then lost leads and lost games. And the Seattle game, last game, was one of the first times and man, that I can remember in quite a while where it seemed like the Indiana Fever gave you 4 straight quarters of solid basketball, right? 4 straight quarters of solid basketball. Now, the other thing, and I don't know that we'll show this is more, do they have to do it to win? Maybe not. Will it make it a lot easier? And is this something that we want to see and need to see? Absolutely. And Stephanie White talked about getting Aaliyah Boston more touches after last game. Well, one of the best ways to get Aaliyah Boston more touches, and we've all seen it, and I know you're not going to see it on a Caitlin Clark level because of what Caitlin Clark offers, but that is the simple pick and roll. We do not see it done effectively with Aaliyah Boston without Caitlin Clark on the court. And here's the thing again, Kelsey Mitchell, completely different type of player than Caitlin Clark. But can Caitlin Clark, can Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell run an effective pick and roll? Absolutely. At the very least, you run it in a way that gets the other team to switch. And now you have Kelsey Mitchell, 20 feet from the basket, allow the other players to space the floor, and she's going up against the big. So help is going to be needed because that big is going to be worried about the explosive Kelsey Mitchell driving to the basket, which means Kelsey also has that leeway of, hey, I can start with my drive, step back, and I've got a pretty open three because that player who's not as quick as me, is not going to want to overcommit to stop my jumper because I will blow right by them. It also allows if they struggle to try and switch because they don't want that situation, you should get Aaliyah Boston in a position where Kelsey Mitchell can feed her the basketball. Or if you don't feed right away and you do get the switch, another option other than spacing out and allowing Kelsey Mitchell to take that mismatch is you have a mismatch on Aaliyah Boston and she can get down to the block, pin her player on her back, and have Kelsey Mitchell feed the post. And that is how you get Aaliyah Boston more touches and allow her to be more effective for this team. So those are my two biggest keys. If I had to nail it down, is focusing on that consistency, not allowing these teams to have these runs, and then running an effective pick and roll, mostly with Kelsey Mitchell, although you can run it with other players as well. And then we've got, just so we can run through this real quick to give you an idea, let's see, we've got right here. Here's where we are. Fever now at 6. That Fever and Seattle are, technically tied in the games department, both 10 back from that top spot. Fever has a slight advantage because Seattle has played 2 more games, but that means they have 1 more win and 1 more loss. So in those 2 games, not quite as good. And the Fever have the tiebreak against Seattle as well. And now we've got the Sparks. Like I said, if they lose to the Sparks, now they're 20-19. The Sparks are 18-19. The Sparks had those 2 extra games. Now, granted, they would have to win those 2 games, but it is in their control because they have the tiebreak and the number of losses are the same. And then, of course, you still got Golden State only a half game behind, and that is because they played 1 less game. They are, again, tied with the Fever in losses, so it's under their control. Plus, they have the tiebreak. So playing the Sparks tonight is a big opportunity for the Indiana Fever to try and create a little bit of space, because then we've got some other games to be played that affect them. Obviously, we've got that game tomorrow. The big game is, look, is it possible the Seattle Storm lose to Chicago Sky? Yeah, it is, but not likely. So then you've got Fever fans root for Washington Mystics going up against Golden State. That is a big game. It does not seem to me like the Mystics are tanking for a draft pick, okay? It really doesn't. So I think they want to go into that game trying to win it. So that's a big game for the Fever. That we've got Sunday. We've also got a couple big ones. The Mystics, again, unfortunately, the second of a back-to-back, playing the Los Angeles Sparks. Love to see the Mystics win that game as well. And then, of course, another huge game for the Indiana Fever with the Golden State Valkyries on Sunday, August 31st, especially when you look into the fact that the next Fever game, I believe, is then you've got the Sparks Seattle Storm, so that's good that they played. Someone's going to lose. But then the next game, I think, is Tuesday. Yeah, Phoenix Mercury, another big game against Phoenix. So I'm going to leave it there, just sort of where they are right now in terms of their push for the playoffs, and a couple of keys that I think are important to this game with the Los Angeles Sparks. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking this out. As always, do me a favor and smash that like button. We're closing in on to 14,500 subscribers. Absolutely amazing. So subscribe as well if you haven't. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.